Okay, well, welcome. This is sort of a teacher feature opportunity for people to get to learn more about the speakers for the International Herb Symposium. And I'm so glad that you'll be joining us in person as an international teacher. And I'm going to go ahead and let you introduce yourself. You could say a little bit about where you're from. And it was just so wonderful to learn that you are a student of Rosemary Gladstars and that you did the International Herb Symposium online and that you will be making the journey and participating in person to connect with people and talk about the work you do. So
Thank you. Yeah, my pleasure. I'm so honored to be a part of this symposium and to travel to share with you guys all of these exciting days. My name is Nadia Nedelchev. I'm from Punta Ballena, Uruguay, very at the south. Um, we live here in the forest by the sea, surrounded with many plants, trees, herbs, flowers. And yeah, so I have been studying plants and herbs and flowers almost 25 years ago now. So yeah, my background, my Bulgarian family, Bulgaria is the country of the roses. So I have been, in touch with them, with the roses since my very early stages in life, through essential oils and some other treasures from there in Bulgaria. So yes, I teach about the wisdom of nature and how nature can help us reconnect with our true nature through the medicine of the flowers and the herbs and many other forms, but in a very simple and practical way. So I do one-on-one sessions. I have my own brand of natural remedies, which I call treasures. And I share lots of resources for my community, not only here in Uruguay, but also overseas.
awesome. Yeah, I've traveled to Bulgaria. It's really one of my favorite places, and I have not been in the time of the roses, but traveled through the Rose Valley, and it's definitely a bucket list for me to go back and experience that for sure. Maybe you could talk a little bit about what your class is called and what you plan to explore in the class that you're going to teach at IHS.
Sure. So the name of the class is The Power of Flowers. And I will be sharing on that class a little bit of my journey, with flowers, among flowers, since my childhood, how the flowers and nature helped me in the past and now to get to know myself, to explore how the beauty of the flowers is like like a safe place to
Mm,
really connect with our hearts, to those maybe those places that are not beautiful but they are inside of us and need to emerge.
mm,
So I am going to teach how the flowers, with their simplicity, with their awesomeness and beauty, can help us really connect with those parts of us in a very harmonious way, with a lot of sweetness and all the qualities that the flowers brings us. And we are going to explore some of the flowers. We are going to dive a little bit about on the roses, because roses are one of you know, the masters of the flowers, right? They are so powerful, not only for our physical bodies, but for our minds, for our spiritual body, hearts. So we're going to dip a little bit on some flowers, lavender, some other simple flowers, very simple but powerful flowers that can help us, and how we can integrate the power of flowers through different medicines, right? Through essential oils, through flower essences, through remedies, elixirs, teas, and also about a little bit with creative practices like land art, mandalas, how we can create that, how we can really engage and deepen our knowledge from ourselves within and out through the flowers, through the observation, through the practice of being silent, and really deepen every time that we are in touch with the flowers. And we can also do that not only through like being with the flowers itself, but for example, during the pandemic, we had to learn how to connect with nature through the screens, right? And I think that it's a little bit of magic that nature can also reach us through the magic of technology if we are able to really use the technology in a very responsible and mindful way. So I'm going to teach also how we can connect with the flowers. If we cannot go out for some reason, we can still connect with the flowers, doing some exercises and mindful practices.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, it seems like um divine intervention that you're coming to the international, because when we did the last international in person, we had this wonderful man, Saeed, who traveled from um, Pakistan and comes from a long lineage of rose farmers. And he brought to the International Herb Symposium um, a suitcase full of roses that he passed out to people for free. And also, he had made hydrosol in these little dispensers of roses and jasmine from his farm to share with everybody. And the luggage got lost in transit. And I spent the whole international navigating with the Boston airport and the airline. And on the last day, at like 1 a.m. in the morning, this suitcase of roses arrived, and we were allowed just in time to just graciously disperse all the roses on Sunday. But anyway, you're right. I mean, it is really a master teacher, and there's such a long um, history of the cultivation of roses and different regions, um, and the trade of um, rose petals, rose oil. Um, so, anyways, yeah, that's very cool. I love hearing about that, and I think you're right. How can we use technology in a responsible way? And so much of, I mean, I think that's what makes the international really special, is for those who can be in person. I mean, there's really nothing like being able to connect with everybody, and especially people who are really on that like higher vibration of like having a deeper relationship with plants, and all different types of modalities. And so that's always pretty intense, just that opportunity. But we have seen the ability to do so much via the internet and online. And it was really amazing when we took the international online and we had like 2,000 people participating, obviously most in the United States, but there was, probably 10 to 15% of people from, countries around the world that were sort of tuning in to all these classes. And so wonderful to hear that you were able to tune in and think about, that network. And though we don't get to, it's like, I don't know, it's like this, thing that's out there and we can't see it or necessarily know it, but it's happening. And I think that's what Rosemary's vision was when she started the International Herb Symposium, was how to, bring people together. There's no one way to connect with plants or to use plants in a healing modality. And so it's really an opportunity to just kind of expand everybody's perspective, and be open to, you know, different ways of connecting with plants. So I'm super excited that you're going to, make the journey, because it's a long trip. And I guess I don't know if, I mean, I think people would be really curious kind of to maybe hear a little bit about what's happening herbalism wise in your country that you see. And I guess the other thing too I would love to tap into is maybe you can share a little bit about your practice as well. But I think, obviously, like, no matter where you go, there's a rich tradition and native medicinals and all kinds of different communities and people. But do you see kind of a resurgence in people um, connecting with herbal knowledge, or maybe they never really lost it, like so many places? And I mean, Central South America, I mean, people, I mean, in Europe, all over, like, it's this thread that's always been really strong. I'm just curious about your if you want to share like your international perspective
Of
on.
course. So here in Uruguay, yes, there are a lot of people who still, practice herbalism. There are a lot of native plants and herbs and flowers that have been used for many, many years. Right now, I feel that maybe since 5 years ago, um, all natural practices, herbalism, maybe flower therapy, aromatherapy, are practices that here in Uruguay locally have been emerging a lot. People are very interested in how to incorporate natural practices for their health and their well-being. So there are a lot of options, and we have a very beautiful country with very rich and still, I can say, still pure soil, right?
Mm,
So we also have many people from overseas come to live in Uruguay, mostly here where we live, by the ocean, in the coast, because we have still many places that are really safe and really pure.
mm,
So in the midst of that, herbalism is really a practice that I feel that not only in Uruguay, but along other countries here in South America, Europe, US, we are looking for the solutions, for natural solutions for health. We know that the other part is also growing, right? And but I think that it's really growing a lot. There are a lot
mm,
of options, a lot of free education, a lot of resources that I also think and feel that we also have to be careful, right? We also
yeah.
have to discern what we use, what we don't use, because as we know, not everything is for everyone.
Mm,
So we need to learn, we need to educate ourselves. But of course, the plants and herbs and flowers, trees, everything, for me is the way, right? To return to nature.
mm-hmm,
So a bit about my perspective. About my practice, I started working at 14 years old in my family company. I worked there for 20 years selling nautical charts, books
mm,
and maps for ships. So that that job allowed me to travel all around the world to different countries. I traveled many times to Scotland and the UK because over there we used to have some companies to visit. So while I was there, I studied and I visited many times and studied in a community. Probably you know it, it's Findhorn.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I was there for many times, and so that's a big journey of me, that part of the world. And also, as I said, all my Bulgarian, my father was born in Bulgaria, and he came to Uruguay when he was 7 with my grandpa. So we always have been in touch with Bulgaria. I traveled there 3 times. I visited all the distilleries and the roses, the most beautiful place for me in the world until this time. And yeah, I learned a lot about the roses through the aroma, mostly through essential oil. And also my grandma, she lived in Sonoma Valley in California since she was very young. And there she was an opera singer, but then became natural,
Naturopathic?
naturopathic, yes.
Yeah.
When she was very young. Then she became a vegan person. She studied a lot about how to eat plants, how to eat sprouts, and then she studied some other practices related to natural health. And then she started studying herbalism. And from her, when I was 20 years old, I got pregnant with my first kid. And then she started mentoring me. She started teaching me everything about plants. And she prayed to me and she said, please do not take any medicine. Please do not do this. And she started me, in this very long and eternal path of being with the plants for our health. So from her, I received many knowledge, and she taught me about many things. And then 15 years ago, I decided to stop my work at the company, and I studied, well, as I said, in Findhorn, and I traveled and I did many courses on flower essences, aromatherapy, meditation practices, art therapy. And then 15 years ago, when I left the company, I started my own practice. I started one-on-one consultations with one of the main tools that I used at this time also, which is cellular memory release, which is a technique to help the body and the being to release stress. And then you can integrate many other practices within that same practice of cellular memory release. And I have been studying since then. 5 years ago, we moved here to the forest in Punta Ballena from the city, from Montevideo. We have a very big land here. We have our vegetable garden. We have many herbs. And I still keep learning every day. I have my own brand. The name is Elemental, which is elemental. And I elaborate oil infusions, infused oils, teas, and then I make blends with essential oils, with crystal elixirs, and then I also make flower essences with the flowers that we plant, which are organic, of course, and And I make all of that remedies in ceremony, because ceremony is one of my main vectors, my main pillars in life. I truly believe that life is a ceremony. So
Mm-hmm.
that's what I teach people, to try to be mindful while we solve all the problems that we have every day, while we cook, while we fold the laundry, and try to bring that energy of ceremony, to be connected to nature and to our nature through the simple and profound things of life.
Yeah.
So I do gatherings, I do retreats, alone and also with colleagues and with friends here at our house, which is a very great place to be in nature, to practice earthing, to make some land art. So it's an integration of many years of experience. The thing started with my own path, because I needed to heal a lot of things inside of me and to get to know myself more, so I can, yeah, be myself.
Yeah.
And from that place, I started to 15 years ago now to share with people. So I'm very
Mm-hmm.
honored to be able to do this work and to travel and to share with other people, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Awesome. Well, I'm really looking forward to meeting you in person and having you come to the international.
So
Um,
I'm so excited to be there
yeah.
to share.
Yeah. That's awesome.
Yeah, to learn, to connect, see each other without the screens,
Yeah.
and get the energy there of all this amazing work that you do. I really appreciate what you do, what you put out in the world,
Yeah.
for us all to learn and to keep, growing and healing and sharing all of this wisdom. So thank you so
Mhm.
much for this opportunity.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, it's awesome. I mean, like I don't know all that background when I kind of dive into, but I think one thing that really spoke to me, because actually I think it was difficult because there was like, a lot of people who submitted applications, and
Mhm.
um and I kind of want to say yes to everybody, but it's impossible. But one thing that really spoke to me was when I just went to your website, a
Mhm.
lot of it's great to learn about Finhorn and travel. And of course I didn't get all of that, but I just got this real um sense of who you are in your practice when I was looking at the website, and that's kind of what you know drew me in. So we'll definitely share that for other people to kind of explore. And I hope that this um doing these like teacher features will allow participants to also connect beforehand, because there's several classes happening at the same time, and it's going to be a lot of hard choices, but it's sort of things just happen the way they're meant to be. And
Mhm.
so
Oh,
anyways,
okay. I'm bringing a lot of aromas, so I,
yeah.
you know, maybe some flowers of the garden. I will see, but
Yeah.
yeah, it's an honor to share with you guys. Also, my English website has been released a couple of months ago. It's not there that much of things, but you can also uh, take a look at that place,
Hmm.
or
Awesome.
you can go to the Spanish website and you can use the Google Translator.
Yeah. Yeah.
Thank you so much for the opportunity. I really appreciate that you are opening this opportunity for me to go to visit, to be with you, and to teach about the
Yeah.
power of the flowers. Okay, thank you so much.
You're welcome. I am